Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the temple. I'm your high priestess, Erin Sunniva, and I welcome you into this sacred space today. As we enter the temple, I welcome the presence of our higher selves. I welcome the presence of the highest light of consciousness to grace this space, the highest love, highest compassion. I ask for the divine to hold us in the light today. And I welcome the benevolent teachers and weavers of the divine plan to grace this space. Today, I call in the presence of the divine healers with the name of Mother Sophia, the heart of Elijah, and Archangel Michael, and the angels of the white light. And they are here to support us, to support our healing as humans in this plane. And they're also here to support our awakening, our reckoning of self, and our internal soul level healing. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So welcome to the temple. And I have a song for you. Yay. So glad that you're here. So I have this song that I literally wrote almost 10 years ago. Politically motivated for what what the energy was at the time, and it's still proving its purpose. So I'm going to sing this song for you all, and I'm not going to get my guitar. I'm not going to get my drum. I put on my eyeliner for you for my rock song that I'm going to sing for you today. Feeling the energy of the eyeliner. That's what happens when my 15-year-old is around. So this song, you can find this on my YouTube, Truth to Power. And let me sing this for you to kind of open the way for our conversation today. Speak truth to power. Speak up in this hour. I know your heart is right. Love beyond your borders, love beyond your orders, and follow to the light. I sing light into all things. I will share the joy it brings. Even in the darkest of places, love prevails. The human race is rising, crystallizing divine beings. Rising, crystallizing divine beings. Speak truth to power. Speak up in this hour. It's your sovereign birthright. And call on your allies, your loved ones and your spirit guides to help you through the night. I sing light into all things. I will share the joy it brings. Even in the darkest of places, love prevails. The human race is rising, crystallizing divine beings. Rising, crystallizing free beings. All change starts from within, and love expands its infinite. And we can live in truth and justice. It begins and it ends with forgiveness. It begins and it ends with forgiveness. Yes. So speak Speak truth to power. Speak up in this hour. It's your sovereign birthright. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, my friends. It is your sovereign birthright. Thank you for being here today. There is so much that's happening and shifting. I mean, I say that all the time. There's always so much that is happening and shifting and that we're working with, that we're working through as individuals. But how can we, as humans, as family, deepen into what is our personal work? And I ask this question because it's up, right? Like, what is your work? Hi, Francis. Thank you, Donna. So the question, what is your work? You know, your personal healing work, it comes up very often when I feel like I'm in conflict with my husband and I feel like you're not doing anything to heal the things that need healing, you know, because I have I have a viewpoint, I have a concept of what that looks like, and even to the point of what that's supposed to look like. And that is a limiting thing, right? Like, it's not up to me to say what your healing looks like. And much to my chagrin, it is not up to me to say what my husband's healing looks like or is supposed to look like or anything. However, I do know what healing looks like. I do know what it takes in certain lanes, right? In certain ways of going about it. That doesn't mean that the ways that I know how to heal and how to work on challenging parts of our experience in this life, that it's the only way. I would never say that. Never say that. But I have some tools. And the tools that I have are incredibly valuable. And so I just want to talk about the different ways that we can tend to what is hurting. And, you know, I can only speak from my personal experience in the moment, right? And I'm definitely having this potent experience of people taking their shit out on me, thinking that I am the dumping ground, right? That whatever is wrong with the world comes down to me for some reason. And because I am a space holder, I have a very challenging time holding space for that, where someone is not respecting boundaries, even in communication, right? So it's incredibly important for us to check in with our people when we're like, I need to have a conversation. This is a challenging conversation, potentially, but it needs to be had. I need to air my grievances, and I associate you with these grievances because ... right? So however people associate me because of my beliefs, my personal path, and the way that I go about things, and the truth to power that I speak, right? And a lot of that is not here on my business page. It's actually on my personal page. But when we come into a place of challenge with another person, we need to recognize that that other person is representing something. It's not them always as an individual. So if the person that you are confronting or challenged with, if they have not personally hurt you, they are representing the pain that you have previously experienced. When that happens, when you and hopefully you can have an awareness of like, wow, your presence is triggering me because of this feeling that I'm having, and even though you didn't do that to me, there's a similar energy here that I'm noticing that is unhealed within me. And I have a desire to project my pain onto you, right? So this is all like unspoken. This is like what happens in the subconscious. And the funny thing about interpersonal relationships is that we are constantly participating in each other's stories, whether we know it or not. So especially in our most intimate relationships, we are probably projecting onto this person our experience of interpersonal relationships. If it's our wife, it's most common that we will project our relationship with our mother onto that person. If it's our husband, we will most likely project our relationship with our father onto that person. If it's a friend, maybe a sibling, right? Things like that. When that occurs, it is the individual's responsibility to recognize that that person that we might potentially be projecting onto is representing something within a thread or a story that we are holding on to. So I have an awareness, and I'm going to be really vulnerable and transparent. I have an awareness in my relationship with my husband of times when I am very aware that I'm participating in his story, in his belief system, even against what I would consider to be my truth, or how I would normally act, or how I would want to be. But because he expects to be criticized, he expects to be in conflict with his partner, the conflict is created, whether or not I want to participate in it. And I will recognize this time and time again and say, I recognize that you're projecting a situation onto me that I am not participating in, nor do I agree with. And I will try to switch it in the moment. But here's the thing. It's not that easy. It's not that easy to, especially if you're the person in the trigger, it's not that easy to recognize, holy smokes, I'm projecting my experience or my story, my belief system onto this person that I want to have a different relationship with. I don't want a continuation of how I relate to my controlling mother or my abusive father, whatever. I'm making this up. But, like this sort of rhetorical, that's what we do. We perpetuate our stories by shifting that belief system to whomever is in front of us. And so this is where we can actually call on help, get help from our higher dimensional beings, higher frequency beings, to say, oh, this is not serving anybody, right? And how do I escape this trap? This is where spiritual alchemy comes in. How do I escape this trap? You have to track down the belief. So what is the story? So one that I, fabricated for us is like, my relationship with my mother is always in conflict. She's always trying to control me. Okay. So now I'm going to switch that over to my wife. My wife is always trying to control me because that's who she is. And she's the main woman in my life. And the main woman in my life is always here to control me and stifle me and suppress my energy, right? So that the origin of that experience could have been created in this life with that mother, right? Or it could have been created in a whole other life. Hi, Lori. So what we have to do is we need to ask for our friends who carry the divine light with them to touch us in that place where the belief was created. Now, a lot of this process is often done in past life regression therapy. But when we kind of hack the system, if you will, which you can hack the system by working with the quantum, okay? And accessing the ever-present all of you, right? Through intention, through decree. And this process is actually incredibly easy. But what has to happen first is that the recognition of the pattern must be seen. It must be documented, right? So, I remember, when I was 3 and even my mother was hovering, and she was a helicopter parent, and she was always controlling me. And I went to the college that she wanted me to go to, not to the one that I wanted to go to, right? So seeing this pattern of like, oh, my mother is controlling. Okay, my mother is controlling. And when did you switch this to women are controlling or my partner is controlling, right? So maybe you remember as far back as you can go in this life that you've had this experience of your mother being controlling. When we hack the system, instead of doing past life regression, we call on those beings that have interdimensional quantum access, which all divine beings do. So the divine beings that are working with us here, and let's define divine because you might think that there's a being that's divine that's not actually of the highest light. So we actually want to be quite conscious of who we're calling in and why. And so there are particular beings that I work with that I stick to that I don't really branch out, and I'll tell you why. There are a lot of misconceptions around what angels do, what angels are capable of, and the light that they carry. The angels carry very high vibrational light, but they are not the highest. They have a limit, right? There are divine beings that are even higher than the angels that can help us, that can do interdimensional work. And let it be known that the dragons are actually, that the dragon realm, I'll say, is at a higher frequency than the angelic realm, interestingly enough. It doesn't mean that all dragons are carrying this higher frequency, higher than angels, and it's all very, it's all very nuanced, and it's not actually cut and dry. But what I will say is this: when we connect to Christ consciousness, we begin connecting to the highest light. So beings that are aligned with Christ consciousness, aligned with, anybody else get the chills on that one? Oh yeah. So when we, and let it be known, we know this, that the angels of the divine light, the angels of the white light, are aligned with Christ consciousness. But their purpose is different than what certain divine beings have. And so if you follow me, you work with me, you have heard of the heart of Elisha. The heart of Elisha is the soul evolution of John the Baptist. Now, not a lot of people know about the heart of Elisha because he came to my father and my father's hypnotherapy spiritual group many, many years ago. I want to say 30 years ago, maybe more. I think about 30 years ago. And he came in during a session that said, all of a sudden the person who was in, who was in hypnosis says, there's another being here. There's a very powerful, bright being here. And so they allowed that being to speak for itself. And it came forward and said, I am the heart of Elisha. So the continuation of the spirit of Elisha, which it was known that John the Baptist was an incarnation of the prophet Elisha. So very high, Christly oriented, right? And so he came in and said, I want to help humanity heal. What happens with the presence of the heart of Elisha, it's not that he just brings the divine light. He also brings the infinite knowing of the Akashic records and the halls of Amenti. So he carries with him this infinite information. So when you call on him and you ask him to touch the source of something in order to heal it, he will do that. He comes and he also brings the understanding. Now, it kind of feels like there's two pretty clear camps around, do you need to have understanding in order to have healing? Do you need to know why the karma was created in order to clear the karma? And some people believe that you do, and some people believe that you don't. Honestly, I believe both. I think that both are true. I think that both are available to us. So when we bring, so let's just staying on this theme, right? So the individual who keeps projecting their mother wound onto whomever is the woman in their life, they need to go to the source of the experience. And this is such a key, such a key, going to the source of the experience. And that might not be in this life. And you might not know what that means. And so when you're in the process of spiritual alchemy, you are simply trusting that the light and that divine being who's carrying the light for you is going to bring you to that place. This is where having clairvoyance is really incredibly helpful, because so that you can see what's happening, but at the same time, not completely necessary. The understanding, the knowing of a thing, right? The understanding of why this has happened, that comes. You don't have to see it, but you will feel it. Oh, I can see that this came from a life where I had a very abusive mother and I was and maybe there was this whole thing that was created, and the belief from that life of being so detrimentally controlled by their mother that they carried this wound into this life, and the belief was there at birth within the subconscious of that soul. And so that belief manifests. So this is how we have these experiences of beliefs that we can't claim started in this life, and we don't know the origins of it. That can be a little bit of a scary thought, right? I don't know why I have this belief, or, like, gosh, when my daughter, oh, maybe this is too intimate. When my daughter was first using tampons, she'd never used them before. She's very young. Her hymen was intact and she couldn't do it. I held space for her while she figured it out, and I watched her go through huge emotions and emotions of fear. I could feel, because of the work that I do, I could feel the presence of past life experience. I could feel the presence of past life trauma in that very intimate, delicate, vulnerable moment, just so that she could go swimming at her sister's birthday party, And she's been bleeding for years. She's fine, but she just hadn't ever gotten to that point. And I saw, okay, I see what we need to tend to, this fear that's here, this place, right? So just speaking into the vulnerabilities that lie within us are carried throughout our lifetimes. And a lot of us have memories, like have clear memories of, and the most prominent one, because a lot of us have been working on this, is the witch wound, right? And once you start going into healing what it is that we're carrying, you begin having those memories. You start turning towards it, and the memories start coming. And so if you recognize that there's a potential or an experience that you need to tend to, that you need to heal, you might start having flashes of feeling, of information, or visions of that actually happening in another life under different circumstances. So this kind of work, spiritual alchemy, is certainly not for the faint of heart. It's for the courageous. It takes a lot of courage to face ourselves, to face our fears, to face these things that have been plaguing us our whole lives, and with myself as a guinea pig, myself as for context, I've been working on my lungs for years, and I still have to. It's not like, spiritual alchemy sometimes can be one and done, like phenomenally, miraculously. and Sister Donna, who's here, she experienced that firsthand last week. Hopefully she's okay with me sharing this. I won't share anything intimate about it, but that we were in the Rumara session with my dragon that we do on Thursdays, and she was saying how she had a session with Rumara and struggling to use her dowsing rods, and that her dowsing rods simply weren't working, and she could use her pendulum, just fine, but the dowsing rods simply wouldn't move. And so, thanks, Donna. So in that moment, with Rumara's abilities to just call upon source, right? So dragons and high divine beings have this ability to look into the matrix of the individual, look into the soul history, and through intention, through specific words that are spoken, that we go to the source of where there was the potential that she had made the choice or the statement or the vow of something that she would never do. She would never use dowsing rods. And so it came to pass that the information came through quite quickly, as it does often with Rumara, but the information came through quickly that she had made a vow due to being, yes, persecuted and basically warned not to do dowsing. And it wasn't that she was using dowsing rods, it was farther down the timeline where she was using a dowsing stick, right? And what did they use that for anyway? Looking for water, looking for resources in the earth, right? But because of this persecution energy that was on the planet at the time and in her realm where that life was existing, she experienced this very severe warning saying, do not do this. And so she vowed not to do it. And so then come to this life, can't do it, won't work, right? So Rumara asked for the heart of Elijah to bring healing to that choice point, right? To bring healing to that moment where she said, I promise I will never do this again, right? And so what also comes in that healing is not just the healing of the choice, but the healing of the self-abandonment. Because that's what it is. When we make vows against our soul, against our personal wisdom and our truth, we're abandoning ourselves, right? So by bringing the divine light to that source moment, to that experience, we're relieving it. And the presence of the divine helps us to hold our power, remember who we are, and helps us to, perhaps she only does it for show, right? Or what might happen is that the scene doesn't even happen, that the entire field of experience completely changes. And Donna can attest, and maybe you've done some work since then. I've been curious as to how this has shifted, but immediately in the circle, Ramara says, okay, Donna, after we had that moment of healing with the divine light, okay, Donna, go ahead and use your dowsing rods. And they worked. They started working. They started moving for her, answering yes and no. This felt so perfect and so divine, even from way deep down inside where I'm watching everything happening and just being like, yes, this is happening for us, So just having that shift in the moment for other people to witness, right, and see, like, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for. So this is why I'm teaching spiritual alchemy. This is why I am going to be teaching my workshop. And I honestly lowered the price because I realized, wait, this is right before Christmas. People are not doing a lot of self-care, and I want to encourage you to do self-care. So I lowered the price by a lot to make it more accessible. And, it's still as long as it needs to be, because there are foundations that, and it is 9 hours total, 3 different weekends, Saturdays. And you can go to, you can go to my website to see about it. But the main thing here is I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to actually place this around Thanksgiving, where and when we have some of the most challenging experiences being triggered by our family, right? And this is where you can apply the spiritual alchemy. Like, oh my God, my cousin triggers me so much, triggers me in my, vulnerability, self-doubt, like whatever the thing is. So then, even in the moment, you don't need to be in session. In the moment, you can say, Heart of Elijah, I ask that you come and touch me in this field of experience of feeling invaluable in the presence of my cousin. And then just breathe and receive and step into that power. Step into that place where your triggers do not hold sway over you. And they don't need to. They certainly don't have to, because this is your time. This is your time. And especially like we're in the shadow of Mercury retrograde, and it starts in Sagittarius. And so I am hyper aware of this fact because Sagittarius is my rising sign. And there's also this other thing with Gemini and Sagittarius as well. And so there's like all of these different things that are happening. I'm like, great, that's my rising sign. Great, that's my moon sign. But and the Taurus full moon, and I'm a Taurus. So this time right now is like really prime for me to be excavating old wounds and tending to them and really looking at them and really, I am present to many people being confrontational with me, and that's fine. I welcome that. And I'm also present to my own self-confrontations that are happening right now. I'm like, am I okay? Yes, actually, I'm really, 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 really okay, because I have these tools to help me along the way, to help me to move through the challenges. So at the same time, right? That all of these things are happening astrologically. Oh my God, look at what's happening politically in this country, right? Like we've had, so yesterday was obviously the day after election day. And so there's a lot of movement that's happening, and, the pendulum continues to swing. And as it does, we continue to just, let's come back to being human, right? Like, let's come back to recognizing how we can show up for each other. And in the situation that's at hand for you, how are you currently being affected, and how's your belief system being affected, right? So at the same time that we're in shadow season, it's not even just Mercury retrograde, it's fucking the beginning of the winter half of the year. This is what we call shadow season. This is the season of the hag or the crone. We call her the Kaliach. And the Kaliach is here to hold us in the embrace of deep stillness and wisdom, whether we like it or not, right? So this is the introduction into the winter time while we honor our ancestors. And today is actually lunar Samhain, okay? Or excuse me, not lunar Samhain. Solar Samhain, astrological Samhain. So Samhain, the true Samhain, is when the sun enters at 15 degrees Scorpio. And that's where we are right now, today. Lunar Samhain is the new moon, the second new moon after this. Isn't this like a new moon? After the spring, excuse me, the autumnal equinox. So this is a time span. It's not just Halloween is Samhain. No. That is your capitalist holiday, okay? Samhain is a time frame. And it really does begin at the last new moon and ends on the 19th. It's this whole month of time where the veil is thin. And Bashar has told us, that this time was actually, the veil is thin at this time because this is the time of Atlantis' destruction. I don't know how we can pin that down because the calendar did not exist at the time. So I don't know how they know that. So I don't know. Okay. However, what is here for us is this separation of light and dark. The light half of the year, the dark half of the year for the northern hemisphere. For the southern hemisphere, obviously, it's the opposite. But what is here for us is the deepening of our work, our inner work. This is where we're headed. And so if you are having an experience where it just simply feels like life is challenging right now, that means that you are doing well and that life is working you. You're being challenged right now because the universe wants to know, how much do you trust yourself? How much do you believe in miracles? How much do you believe that you are actually in control of this entire experience? If you are not embodying your personal authority and you feel like you are living at the whim of the universe and that, you don't have control over anything, I want to shake you by the shoulders. I want to say, wake the fuck up, because that is not true. Your life is not at the whim of the universe. It is at the whim of your belief system. So if you believe that you are a POS, then you're going to continue to experience feeling like a POS. If you feel emboldened, in charge, like you are manifesting the things that you deserve, that you're ready for, and you're leveling up, keep going and rest. Right? Rise up and rest. And if you don't rest, your body will force you to, right? So remember also that wintering, and especially now, this time right now, it's not a hurry up and go get them time. It's not. As much as I would love, because when it gets colder and darker, I actually get more energy. When the sun is out, I lose energy. I don't know why. It's not that when the sun is out, I lose energy, but when it's hot out, I can't. I just can't. So this is the time where we are really taking stock. Where am I in my life? How am I doing? How am I moving forward? How does that feel to me? Does it feel good? Does it feel like I'm moving forward? What do I need to do in order to move forward? How can I participate in what is naturally present at this time in the wheel of the year? What's naturally present is that we are going inside. And so the deep work is here. And so this is the timing of the workshop, because this is the time of the year when we're triggered. This is the time of the year when we need to return to the truth of our abilities, the truth of our system, and what we're ready to heal, and how we're ready to move forward with that. Yeah. Any questions? Any questions? So this workshop, spiritual alchemy workshop, it is extracted from the mentorship, because I realized not everybody can take the Magdalene mentorship or afford it. And so what I've been doing is I've been taking out the key pieces to the mentorship that I believe individuals want and need and may not be ready for the full commitment of the mentorship, etc. So these are smaller morsels for you to receive and feel more buoyant and confident in your spiritual work, right? And this has to do with your psychic development. This has to do with your sovereignty. This has to do with your spirit releasement process, right? Understanding and being able to perform spiritual alchemy takes all of your work even further. Whether or not you're a hypnotherapist or you do past life regression or you do spirit releasement, this workshop is meant for you because you're a human being, because you're on your own personal healing path. It's meant for you, right? It's meant for all of us. I am really ready for humanity to be empowered, right? Me teaching you how I do the things that I do, I'm not worried about losing clients because you're empowered and taking care of yourself. That's my job, my purpose, my presence on this planet is to support your awakening, to support your empowerment, to help you know that your sovereignty cannot be taken from you as long as you are maintaining, staying connected, that your healing is always within your own hands. It's always within your own hands. Even if you go to see a healer, the healing depends on you, right? And that you can face any challenge that you come up against, because every challenge in the physical is actually a spiritual challenge. And so you can rise to the occasion knowing that you are sovereign, knowing that you're in your spiritual authority, and that nothing can break you. Nothing can put you down. It can only remake you. Any challenge that you are faced with, it might have a purpose of shaping you, reshaping you, right? So let's take the opportunity to heal, to prepare for the winter, to prepare for the holidays of when you might be triggered by your friends and family. And let's heal those triggers. Let's heal those wounds, right? Yeah. So what shall we do now? We still have some time left. Oh, I'm reaching for my cards. Look at this. So here we are on this lunar Samhain. Bonfires dot the rolling hillsides, lights, figures dance around and around to drums that pulse out echoes of darkness, moving to the pagan sound. Somewhere in a hidden memory, images float before my eyes. A fragrant night of straw and bonfires dance until the next sunrise. I can see the lights in the distance trembling in the dark cloak of night. Candles and lanterns are dancing, dancing walls alone. All Souls Night. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh my goodness, these cards. Yikes. Okay. My friends. Of course, we started with the Sun card, right? Just right there. And the energy that we're everything that I've been talking about, it's showing up in these cards. Present moment, 3 of Swords reversed, which is actually healing, right? Healing these wounds, healing these conflicts, these interpersonal relationships that have made us really truly feel like we're not on top. We don't feel like we've been really tending to everything that we need to be tending to. This is where we have been. But now we're entering into this place of remembering all of the things that we have. 9 of Coins it's like revaluing, like, oh, I am abundant. Oh, I do have all of these. Oh, I have all these tools and I have all of these gifts and I have all of these things that are available to me. And it's true, but you have to pick them. You have to actually use them. You have to be willing to walk towards the next thing that you've already chosen, which is your highest path, and to say, look, I'm walking away from that which doesn't serve me because I know that I am meant for more. And notice how not only the wand is not even on the ground anymore, it's up on this next level. Maybe it's on a step, right? On a boundary wall. But he's holding the planet in his hand and he's looking out to the ocean. He's in the place where I am ready for new shores. I am ready for new things and I am ready to follow my heart. And what happens with that? The world. So this is beginnings and endings, right? And this is also us recognizing, and it's really wonderful to see the World card after we had the Wheel of Fortune card, and kind of the sun also guiding us on this way, because we want that Wheel of Fortune to be corrected. And this is where the world says, okay, that previous reality that you are really willing to let go, we're actually going to let that go. We're actually going to move forward, and we're going to let this shift that's happening truly, truly shift. So the future card now, the moving forward from this place card, is the Knight of Wands. This is take the money and run. I love how I just hear these random phrases. Yes, it really is this like move forward on your mission. Right? I recognize how like this all spread, and it's usually always the case, oh, this spread is for me. Right? This spread is for me. But really what's happening here is that the Knight of Wands is like, remember your mission. Remember why you're here. You know, your whole life has probably been leading you up to this certain point while you've been constantly allowing yourself to be distracted. When if you just focus on original mission, you will remember, oh yeah, I was supposed to be doing this. Or I remember this was my affinity when I was a kid and I wanted to do this. And all of these things I want you to remember. All of these things, I want you to come back into this place where you can say, oh, I know who I'm supposed to be. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And for me, It's alchemy. For me, spiritual alchemy, freeing the Sophias of their constraints, their handlers, their energetic handlers, physical handlers, like again and again and again, the universe comes back to me and says, this is what I need you to be doing. This and sing. And sing. So I hope that you can remember in this moment why you are here. What brings you the most joy? What brings you the most joy? Teaching brings me the most joy. I love to teach. I love to share information and especially share these spiritual tools that everybody deserves to have, especially you. So visit my website, go to my Facebook or whatever, go to my events, you'll see it there, Spiritual Alchemy Workshop. It'll also be available for purchase if you can't come live. But I have to tell you, this is, oh God, the word detrimental is coming up. Like the work that we have to do for ourselves at this time has to do with our survival. Literally, this is not just about physical survival. This is about the spiritual conflict, the spiritual battle that we have been in for a long time. And those of you who are here, you're aware of this, right? Like this isn't news to you. I know that. This is a necessary tool for all of us to have to be able to tend to what is happening in the moment so that we can be free. Love you, Donna. I love you so much. I love you all so much. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. So if you do decide to take this workshop, I am also offering half price sessions with me to tend to the things that come up, because they come up when you go to learn something new. Your triggers come up in order. What is it? It is the ego trying to stop you from your healing, because the ego doesn't want you to be healed, because once you have healed all of these things, there's nothing for the ego to keep you distracted from, right? Because you are in full alignment and you deserve full alignment. You can have it. Yeah, it's true. I love you so much. Thank you to all of the divine beings who always come and hold space with us. Thank you to Mother Sophia, to the Kaliach, to Archangel Michael, Angels of the White Light, to Rumara, and to the Heart of Elijah. We release you all. Stay if you will, go if you must. Blessed be. I love you. I'll see you soon. Ciao.